So what's up, you guys? Yeah, I know I haven't been able to make a few videos, well, because I've been busy, mostly with school, but yeah, I'm gonna get to work back on making the videos and whatnot. Also, there's a whole bunch of other updates, like YouTube update, that just totally threw me off. I don't even like it, but I can't think of a person that actually does. But today's topic is going to be on what is love. So, what is love? Well, if we look in the Bible, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it tells us what it is. Alright. And we're going to start with verse 4. It says, I'm reading from King James Version. It says charity, but in this case charity still means the same as love. It says, charity suffers long and is kind. Charity does not envy. Charity vaunts not itself. It is not puffed up. It doesn't behave itself unseemingly, and seek not her own. It is not easily provoked, and it doesn't think of evil. It rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Charity never fails, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. And just gonna skip ahead to verse 13. And it says, now abides faith, hope, and charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. So if that was a little bit fuzzy, I apologize. It's a King James Version. It's like using Shakespeare English. So I'm gonna clear word. It's like an HD Bible. HD PVR. Alright, same book, same chapter. The translation in the clear word, I think, is actually a lot better. It's an easy to read. It's like kind of a little bit of an encyclopedia in which it explains everything. But alright, starting again from verse 4. It says, love is patient and kind. It doesn't envy or boast, nor is it puffed up with its own importance. Love is never rude, nor does it behave disorderly, nor is it not interested in itself. It does not become angry. It does not keep a record of wrongdoings. Love does not enjoy evil, but it always is happy with truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes for all things, and endures all things. Love will not fail, and one day prophecies will end, the gift of languages will cease, and our imperfect knowledge will vanish. Now I'm just going to highlight that verse, verse 8. It's actually explaining what's going to happen after the end of the world. That the gifts of languages, we're not going to have many languages. There's only going to be one language. We don't know what the language is, but people call it the language of love. But we're all going to be speaking one language, because after this world ends, we're going to be going to like New Jerusalem, or to heaven, that too. And it says, our imperfect knowledge will vanish, meaning that our perfect knowledge will be replaced with it. So we will have perfect knowledge. And we won't have to prophesy, because God will be right there with us. So, and then skipping back ahead to verse 13, it said, there are three important things that will last forever: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. So that basically defines what love is. And a lot of times in relationships, We some of these things we fall short of. Some of these things we don't follow through with. So if that's what love is, there's always a counterfeit for anything that God creates. The devil always creates a counterfeit for it and makes a twist on it for his own evil purpose. And that would be something called lust. Lust is kind of like your extreme desire to have something or someone, but in this case it's your desire to have someone. So it's like it's the one thing that that actually ends up counterfeiting love. It's like a counterfeit version of love. You think you love the person, but you don't really. You just want them. But it's very destructive. It's the one that leads to basically breaking almost all 10 of the 10 commandments, because if you break one of them, you break them all. So, like in the 10 commandments, lust can break the first one. It can break practically all of them, especially committing adultery. That's when you cheat on your partner or your spouse. But it's very dangerous, and I think it's something that everyone struggled with. And that's the reason why Christ always taught of self-denial, because our nature is naturally sinful, naturally inclined to lust after things and to want things and to do things that seems good to us when they're really not good at all. They just don't help us. And one thing I did learn is that Satanism is actually self-seeking, which is you basically seeking to please yourself. Well, a friend told me that, but that actually makes a lot of sense, because when Christ's ministry was to teach self-denial, and Satan's ministry was to teach self-indulgence, to fill yourself up to satisfy what you want, which actually makes a lot of sense, because one, they're exact opposite poles, and two, Satan is the father of sin, as the Bible tells us, because he was the one angel in heaven that did sin, and that was cast out. But and also, one of the reasons why, if you look closely in the Bible, if it replaces the word charity with love, love is always capitalized, because it's also implying that God is love, and that love is actually like unto a person. It's the same thing in Proverbs, how they say wisdom is like unto a person whom you fall in love with and whom you're supposed to hold close to you like if they were your spouse. But they aren't like the action of loving somebody, or the noun is not really a person. It's just a noun. It's a thing. But the Bible describes God as love, because it also teaches in the Bible that love is a consuming fire, which can be explained with practically every story in here. One example of God's love, or at least a hint of it, would be in the book of 1 Kings, and it'd be, or not 1 Kings, it'd be 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 2, which is where you see Elijah and Elisha, well, it talks primarily about Elijah being taken to heaven without the process of death. But it says, alright, I'm reading from the clear word again, but only because King James is King James. But here's where it is. Alright, I'm just going to start reading. And it says, after they crossed, Elijah knew that the Lord would take him. It's at verse 9. So he said to Elisha, what would you like me to do before I leave? Elisha answered, I pray that I will receive a double portion of the Holy Spirit that the Lord has given you. And Elijah said, You have asked a hard thing. I don't have the power to decide that. If the Lord lets you see him take me away, he'll give you what you asked for. But if he doesn't, he's decided not to give you what you asked. In verse 11. As they were walking along together, suddenly a chariot of fire, keyword is fire, and then there are other instances of fire raining down from heaven. Now, a lot of people would wonder, why fire? But I don't really know how to explain it. It's just fire. They also describe, some people, if you look at some of the books that talk about love, they'll say that love is a fire that can't be extinguished. No, like floodwaters cannot quench it, and it doesn't matter, the air can't suffocate it. Oh, a perfect example of love. It's in the book of Songs of Solomon. I know some people go through that book and they're like, why is this book even in here? But it's in here, I've seen it. Song of Solomon, Song of Solomon. It was in Song of Solomon, chapter 8, and it's verse 6. And it's the bride speaking to the groom. She says, keep your heart in love only for me. Hold no one else in your arms. For true love is stronger than death, and as unyielding as the grave. Love is a flame to us given by the Lord. Water cannot put it out, and floods cannot drown it. All the wealth in the world can't buy it, because true love is never for sale. And I'm going to stop right there. So right then and there, that's another example of it coming from God. Because the Bible teaches that God is love. Alright. Same thing, King James. Oh, and one other thing I started adding in, I'm gonna have a link in the sidebar for BibleGateway.com, so that way you can look at almost any version you want, except for the Clearwood. I don't know if they have that one yet. So, whatever language, you could probably find it. Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6. Alright. Set me as a seal on your heart, as a seal on your arm. For love is as strong as death, jealousy is as cruel as the grave, the coals thereof are coals of fire, which have a most vehement flame. Notice how they use fire and flame together. And vehement means it burns vigorously, like with, you could almost say like with a passion. But that's what it means. So in short, God is love, and love comes from God, and anyone who loves someone knows of God and has heard of him. So yeah, it ties in. Well, I'm done for right now, so I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Alright. And I'll keep posting more videos as quickly as I can. I know I have to get back on track with that. So see you guys later.